You want to narratively figure out if anything has changed. And that is true whether the stock is at an all-time high or whether it's 10 or 15% off its highs. Sometimes stocks go up, sometimes stocks go down. And in this particular case, with a lot of these stocks 20 or 30% off their highs, the question you're supposed to ask yourself as a holder or a particular investor is anything changed from when they were at the highs or whatever period of time you want to choose? If you find that nothing has changed, there wasn't a negative report, there wasn't any malfeasance, any auditing issues, or a competitor that made significant inroads, then it's a potential buying opportunity. And then that's true whether it's Microsoft or Apple or McDonald's or Sony. It doesn't really matter. And so, again, as these stocks decline from highs, they're still at elevated valuations relative to the market, but that's expected to be the case. They have higher growth rates. And you just have to figure out if you're comfortable with the risk-reward given the lower price, if, again, you don't think anything narratively changed. It's, unfortunately for the conversation, I can't say whether anything is narratively changed or not.
All right, Dan, you like the US consumer plays, and conventional wisdom tells you that it's typically Walmart and Target that are the names that spring to mind. And quite frankly, it has been quite a mixed review in terms of the earnings season for the retailers. But the way that you are expressing it is through the travel sector. Just unpack that for us.
Yeah, so I mean, the areas that we found, let me start at the beginning very quickly, which is there's been this story in the United States that the consumer was always about to run out of money for some unknown reason. And we never found that particularly believable. And so there were a number of areas for both fundamental and macro reasons that we looked at and said, I think the risk reward here is particularly attractive, especially, to use your term, the conventional wisdom, viewed these as suspicious because of that looming cliff, if you will, for the consumer. And so when people say, oh, I like the consumer space, as you mentioned, people think about Walmart or Target and those types of names, Costco, and some of those are terrific companies. But as you mentioned, within the travel space, there's a number of areas. You have cruise lines, you have airplanes, you have hotels, you have the OTAs, the online travel agencies. All of these are consumer derivative plays. And again, I can't say, unfortunately for the conversation, I can't say what we own. But what I can say is that the U.S. consumer still looks pretty healthy. Obviously, there's a problem at the lower end of the income spectrum. But on balance, the consumer looks pretty healthy. And for a lot of those names that are consumer exposed, they should probably continue to hold up as long as the job market continues to do so.